Hi guys, I'm Jake Warner from the Penrith Solar Centre and I'm joined with Dan, our actually behind the lens today. Dan's our videographer and content creator here at PSC. So to get him behind the lens is unreal. I'm excited for this. So
Thank you.
Dan, welcome.
Thanks,
welcome.
buddy.
What we're going to be speaking about is the all new feature from Tesla. What have they released, Dan? Like this is a groundbreaking but yet simple thing. What is it?
I've been waiting for this ever since I got my car, my Model 3. So it's charged from solar. So it was released about 2 weeks ago now. And I heard about it through email in the months before that. So what I've experienced, so I've charged from solar about 4 or 5 times so far. It's still very fresh and it works incredibly well. They're releasing it through different areas of the world at different times. There's obviously lots, as you would know, there's lots of different regulations around networks and export limits and all sorts of stuff that would affect this type of function. But I think what would be interesting today is just to have a bit of a chat. We both are Powerwall owners. We're both Tesla vehicle owners. So, we can, have a chat about how it works, what we think are its pros and cons, and go from there.
Mate, well, that sounds fantastic. It sounds like something that it should already have, though,
Yeah,
like from solar, obviously.
I agree. It seems very simple, but the more and more you kind of understand, and you more than anyone understand how the energy and the network works, but there are huge challenges, obviously, with it when you've got, a load like 10 kilowatts when it's charging at its max, or 11, for example. If that just turns on, turns off in an instant, as it can when it's at full production and nothing, that has some challenges. So
interesting.
it's the gateway that I guess that's doing a lot of the sort
computing.
of exactly right.
Why don't you tell us a bit about your setup at home?
Cool. I
was fortunate enough to install this with my own 2 hands with an incredibly talented crew that made me look good.
They did.
Tell us about it, mate.
Yeah, so we got 2 Powerwalls. So we got 2 Powerwall 2s installed, single story. We've got about 15 kilowatts of solar Enphase IQ8s. And so we can, obviously the maximum output of the 2 Powerwalls is 10 kilowatts. And so it's got that maximum power delivery at any one time that can go to the car. But as we discussed off air just before, it's not my priority to charge from Powerwall.
Shouldn't be anyone's priority,
because that energy's already been converted from DC to AC, stored, and it's really, if I charge from charge the Powerwalls, I really want to use that in the home if possible. And the benefits of charge from solar is simply stopping the export, going to the grid, and dumping that in my car. So my experience so far charging from, I've got my 15 kilowatt system, 2 Powerwalls, and I'm now bolting on the car charger, the wall connector.
The Tesla Gen 3.
The Gen 3 car charger, yep. And I've now sort of completed the ecosystem when I'm at home and I'm producing. I've got this beautiful ecosystem of the car. It's like the grid's never going to touch an electron again whilst my car is parked and plugged in, because it'll just go there. Like it'll just go there. And I love that. I love increasing the amount of self-consumption that I can get out of my 15 kilowatt system.
And reducing the reliance on the grid.
Yeah, exactly right.
Interesting. I've got a question about 2 Powerwalls.
Yeah.
Why'd you go 2 Powerwalls?
Well,
could you have done 1?
Yeah, obviously.
Yep.
I was maximizing the day charge at the time. So, with the single story home and the size of the system that we had, we sort of got the most out of the labor of the day with the resources we put into it. So just dropping a Powerwall just meant that if I added it later, it would be at a significant higher cost. So it was a little bit of an opportunity to just future-proof the home, because I knew that I'm probably not going to ever go back to a non-electric car. I desperately want a ute, but I will wait until the right one arrives. But until now, I just look at my home and I look at my roof, my Powerwalls, my car as just one big system. So it's like I don't want to take out a part of that system, because it's as a whole, it operates so efficiently. It's producing free fuel for my car. It's producing free hot water, like everything is all not free. It all comes at a cost. But once that asset is paid off and owned, then there's no ongoing cost to produce that energy with the aside of some small daily supply charges and things like that. So I really look at it as a huge investment in the future of how my household, I've got a 4-person household. We have one combustion engine car, one electric car. So eventually we'll have 2 electric cars, and obviously my kids, by the time they're growing up, they'll have an electric car. Yeah, exactly. So it's all about, and obviously my experience using the system, with the app, understanding my own energy habits, it doesn't happen overnight. Like you slowly get better and better with how you plan, like a cloudy day with you just kind of try and, like anything, you get better from observing your habits, from understanding when it was a bad day and you ended up pulling from the grid more than you wanted. And obviously I look ahead at the future as my car being just another battery on wheels, that vehicle to home will eventually likely inevitably become a feature of Tesla. I think that's just simply a matter of time, not a matter of if, but and when that's the case, there's just all the energy that I ever need is driving on my 4 wheels of my car. So through convenience would be, and the gateway is obviously an essential piece of hardware to make all that work. So the Powerwalls are still an essential investment, or a battery is an essential investment in, I think, the the architecture of tying it all together. I don't think you can have buffer as well.
It's your energy buffer. Like totally. It's your bank. It's your energy bank.
Like a dam. Like it's just controlling.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Yeah, that's interesting. So tell us about your first charge from solar experience. Or how do you get charged from solar?
Yeah,
because I've got to admit, I actually don't have it yet.
Yeah.
As you know, I'm a Powerwall user. I'm a Tesla car driver, and I have a Tesla Gen 3 charger, and I actually don't have it yet. So how did you get it? What was the process?
So from memory, a couple of weeks ago, it was just a prompt on the Tesla app, pair your Powerwall with your car. Once you followed the prompts through the app, and if you're a Powerwall and Tesla owner and you don't have that prompt yet, I think your best bet is to reach out to Tesla support, because it just appeared as a push notification in my app. I didn't ask for it. This was about 10 days after I got the email from Tesla directly that this was available. So it wasn't like, it didn't appear immediately for me. And I think this has definitely been rolled out. It's not just like an instant, every DNSP is available, every state, this is getting rolled out piece by piece throughout the network. And I'm not sure who, how, or why they're prioritizing, but it is what it is. So follow the prompts. You just link your Powerwall serial numbers with your vehicle, or vice versa. And basically it's very simple. The slider where you set your charge limit now just has an extra node in the line. So that's just a dot. So that's first dot is basically, we will. So the first dot is basically the limit you want to charge to that is from any source. This could be grid or Powerwall. So and then the second dot is your limit to charge from solar. So let's say you want to charge your car to an 80% limit for that day. Your car's currently at 60%. If you set a limit to charge from any source to 70%, it will charge the car first priority from any source, be it solar, be it Powerwall, be it grid.
Interesting.
Based on your rate of charge. Okay, so you can also set your limit to what rate of charge that you will charge at, which can by default obviously limit what it's going to draw from either Powerwall or grid just by reducing that rate of charge as well. So that's another cool thing that you can do. So then if your car gets to say 71% or 70%, it's now done the first part of its job. It's charged from any source to get from like 60 to 70%. It will only now charge from 70 to 80% from solar only above 1.2 kilowatts. So it needs a minimum of around 1 to 1.2 kilowatts from what I've to turn it on. So under that, it will export or charge a Powerwall or whatever it'll do. Use it in the house. it's only going to charge above that startup rate.
Dan, I've got a question,
Yep.
right? And I'm thinking in my head, trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together. If you've got Powerwalls on your home, the usual standard setup that we set people's houses up with is what we call maximum self-consumption. So during the day, the solar produces energy. The very first priority is for that energy to be consumed in the home. The second priority is to then put the energy into a battery. Once that battery is full, the third priority is to sell the energy to the grid. When you select charge from solar only, where does the car lie in the order of priorities? Does the home battery charge first or the car?
What I've found is that it did charge the car first.
Okay.
That's what I found.
Sure. Because I guess it sees the car as a load.
Yeah, correct.
Interesting.
Correct.
Yep.
So I don't know how, because I guess, the Powerwall can charge at 5 and 5, can't it? Like per Powerwall. So let's say you've got 5 kilowatts of excess at this point in time.
Yep.
And you've got charge from solar activated.
Yes.
From what I recall, like from my experience so far, it was sending the 5 to the car first before Powerwall.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't know if there's further settings that I have not looked at, not played with yet. And that's also because I had the charge rate of the car set to above that threshold of what was being exported to.
Sure.
So it's very, very interesting as to how you can set this up.
Do you think if you backed that threshold down, like you said, only charge my car at 2 kilowatts for argument's sake.
Yes.
And you were exporting 5. It would tuck the extra 3 into the battery.
Definitely.
And it will do that at the same time, car and battery.
That's right.
Great.
The downside to that, Jake, is though that if you wanted to set and forget, which is my end goal, this is what I'm basing every decision on set and forget. I want to try test every option so that it can be the most robust setting for any day, for any situation. The problem with that is that if you wanted to set and forget it at a 2 kilowatt charge rate and you are exporting 8 kilowatts and your battery's full, it's still only going to charge at 2 kilowatts.
And the rest is going to go to the grid.
Yeah.
Really?
It's not going to dump it in the car. No.
That's a challenge.
It's tough. It's tough.
This is 2 weeks in.
This is 2 weeks in. Yeah.
We haven't changed a single piece of hardware for this to work.
No.
It's got to get better, right?
100%.
As it learns.
100%.
Yeah.
So it's I think that into talking the charge rate with the charge from solar settings based on the battery charge percentage, they're the 3 big sort of moving parts that once optimized are just going to turn this thing on its head and just be so incredibly intelligent and practical and just increasing its value, because the better this can optimize itself for the homeowner, the more valuable it is. You know what I mean? It's infinitely more valuable. It's dollars saved versus dollars spent. So it's a fascinating system. It's extremely complicated when it looks so simple from the outside, but I'm fascinated to keep playing with it and working out the best ways to improve my knowledge of how it works, experiment it in different scenarios, because like I said, this is just a couple of weeks in. This is fresh. This is fresh, and this will change in months. This will be outdated pretty quickly. This conversation.
The interface will change. We'll be talking about something else. Same product, new feature, right?
Totally.
So Dan, you've got a 4-person household.
Yep.
You've got 2 Powerwalls, 15 kilowatts-ish of solar, electric vehicle charger, an EV. There's got to be a very strong argument for you if you charge your car off solar only, or let's say green energy only, right? Yes, you've had a big upfront investment to do all that. I will acknowledge that. However, buying a car is buying a car. The Tesla Model 3 does not break the bank compared to a lot of cars on the road. It's actually quite a cheap battery on wheels, to be honest. And Powerwalls do come at a cost. There's got to be an argument that the return on investment on your solar system and car combined, if you like, is absolutely supercharged by a feature like this.
Absolutely.
Because you're not just talking about what's the cost of energy from the grid, what's the cost of fuel per litre?
100%.
So how many Ks do you get out of 1 kilowatt hour versus 1 litre? And what's a kilowatt hour worth versus a litre? Imagine if you could get a litre of fuel out of the ground for free.
Totally.
Like you can out of the sun for free.
I'm actually working on I'm working on the. Haven't told you. I'm chewing on that data right now.
Okay, nice. I bet you are.
I'm basic because my missus has a hybrid. Okay, Hyundai hybrid. So I'm gonna compare her, just her weekly fuel range per, like, it's an expensive fill for her. She's like easily like $130.
She has a fair bit of a commute to work.
Yeah, it's a long commute, but still it's over $100 per tank.
Yeah.
So she gets a good range, but I'm comparing that to like $0.
Yeah, of course.
Per my range as well.
Yes.
And obviously taking for granted that I'm not paying for any of the energy that I put into my car, which I'm not.
Yep.
Because we also charge here at work, which is free.
Yep.
So it's also about trying to drill down to a figure that is a kilowatt versus a litre.
Yes.
Based on either a hybrid or a regular car or a diesel car.
Mm-hmm.
Just so there's some understanding of what the saving is there, because that is worth something. Like that is not something that, I believe that is really put under a spotlight. It's like not very tangible in like a sales process for
it's not even in our
solar and battery decision making. It's something that I was 100% aware of, and I just loved the idea of it. I didn't bother crunching the numbers. I was just fascinated by the technology, and I made my purchasing decision based on, fascination and love for this technology.
And you want it to be cool.
less of the like dollar in, dollar out. Like,
I remember how excited you were when you bought that car,
dude.
Like pumped. Does it still give you the same excitement?
Yeah. Oh, it's next level.
Isn't it insane?
I love it.
It is just the greatest experience in the world.
Even just like watching, my son loves watching like videos while we're waiting for mum at the store, like shopping. Like it's little things that, I don't know, putting the air on when it's boiling hot 5 minutes before you get in the car.
Of all time.
Like, come on, it's so good.
My favourite thing, it's still got to be the torque for me. Yeah. Having a car full of grown men and accelerating rapidly up to the speed limit and them squealing, right? Like it will never get old. Yeah. And my car, Dan, is nearly 5 years old,
It still pumps.
That Model S is it still just feels and looks like the day I bought it. It's
so
insane.
Good. So good.
Yeah, wow. And so these are just the gifts that keep on giving.
They
Powerwall, the cars, every one of their cars. I mean, the Model Y for me is the best all-rounder, but neither of us drive one of those full time. So what do you, like, there's got to be a degree of, they get better over time.
Yep.
There's got to be some sort of risk or cost though, Dan.
Yep.
Like, well, they're always got to be connected to internet. They've each got a SIM card, which is how this whole thing works through the cloud. Yep. What if that fails?
Yeah. So looking at some troubleshooting from Tesla website and the internet in general, just on the internet point. So our vehicles rely on internet connection at home for software updates, and they also rely on that for this charge from solar feature. So it does need a stable internet connection to actually charge from solar. Okay. So that's an important thing. I've never had a problem with my internet connection at home. Occasionally I get a black, hour or so when it's just not available, but that's quickly rectified that day usually. But that's a great point. This thing needs, this feature requires a stable internet connection with both the Powerwall and the vehicle at all times.
Do you think this is why Elon's developed Starlink? There's got to be a bigger reason. It's not why, but it's all going to tie together in the future, right?
Well, Elon just looks at things that are essential to, civilization. He built a rocket not for the purpose of building internet, empire. Yeah. He looked at his technology of building rockets for all these customers who are paying me a lot of money to send satellites. Why don't I just build my own satellite and own the internet myself? Like, it was incredibly simple and clever. And now he's got 1 million products. I don't know how many vehicles he has on the road, like Tesla have on the road now, like 2, 3, 4 million, who knows? But they all require internet.
It's a really good question.
So it's they're all customers. Every vehicle that they sell is now a customer. I don't know if they even use Starlink, but I don't think so.
No,
it's only a matter of time.
It's only a matter of time. I got sent stats the other day on Australian EV uptake.
Yep.
And in 2750 Penrith postcode, I think we're almost at 1,000 EVs.
Crazy.
Yeah, which is that a lot? Is it not a lot? Hard
Still
to say.
so early. Like
It's so early,
so
but
early.
1,000 just in Penrith City. You know, like it's growing quick. It's growing quick. There were LGAs that had way more than Penrith, but I was obviously interested in Penrith. So it's really, really cool data. Great data.
And more and more homeowners are going to start to become aware of features like this, and I think it's going to really drive their lines of questions and decision making around what products they want. Enphase, they have battery management systems that we know that are coming soon. They've got their own battery. I believe they have their own car charger in the States, but it's not here yet.
I believe it's being trialled in the States. It'll be here next year, I believe. So it's got microinverters in it, bi-directional, ready to go. Beautiful. And importantly, it's part of their suite. It talks to the rest of their products.
Definitely.
That's what you want.
Absolutely.
Smart home energy management software.
That's right.
Awesome.
And that was a big part of why I chose Powerwalls, just simple integration with the car.
Well, you already had the car first, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of that. If you already have a Tesla car, put Tesla batteries on your house. If you have Tesla batteries, buy a Tesla car. Because the interconnection is just second to none. It is just so special how 100%. It ties in with your life.
Absolutely.
Well, that is awesome, Dan. Thanks so much for sharing your experience on charge with solar. Fingers crossed, and I have no doubt that this product will just continue to get better and better and better with time. And what an exciting time we're in. The uptake of batteries right now is through the roof. It's a very hot topic, and clients are buying them quicker than we can almost keep up with.
That's awesome.
Really exciting time. Thank you guys for tuning in. Until the next one, Uru.
Thank you. Sweet, bro.
Ended it with an Uru.
Yeah, I love it.
Whatever.
That was sick, man.
Well done. That was good.